Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Tainted and Tempted podcast. I'm your host, Asia. So I hope everyone had a great weekend as we are ready to get into this new week. So I just want to start off by saying for my past two episodes, I talked about celebrity gossip. I talked about Offset being shot, and I talked about the situation that happened with Ice Spice being slapped at McDonald's. Now, I just want to make it be clear that no more am I going to talk about celebrity gossip. This platform is made for positivity, and that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to talk about positive things, and I'm going to talk about spiritual things, and I'm going to focus on how we could become better as a whole. So that's what I'm going to focus on more and more. Excuse me for talking about those incidents. My audience, stay put. The goodness is coming back. Today we're not going to talk about no celebrity gossip. We're going to talk about something that's very important that we need to talk about more and more. So just say that. I'm just saying that. Stay put. I'm coming back with the spiritual topics, the positive topics. Everything you need to hear is coming back on this platform. This platform is made from love and is made to give back and talk about great things. And that's what I want to focus on more and more. So excuse me for talking about those two unnecessary topics. It's not unnecessary. It's not unnecessary. It's messed up what happened to both of them. But it's other podcasts out there that is talking about celebrity gossip. And on this platform, on the Tainted and Tempted podcast for this season, I don't want to talk about celebrity gossip. I want to talk about positive things. I want to talk about spiritual things. I want to talk about things that we need to talk about to focus on, but to become a higher self, to become more aware, to become more spiritual, to become more of yourself. So today I have a new topic for my podcast, and it's going to be, why are Black people portrayed so negatively on TV? So we all see it. When it comes down to Black shows, what do we see? We see drug dealing, fighting, prostitution, strip club, the list goes on. And I just want to talk about it today because I feel like enough is enough. I'm in my 30s now, and when I was in my 20s, I had no problem with watching shows like, I'm not going to say the shows too much on here because I don't want no backlash, but the main show I do want to address is Love and Hip Hop. I used to watch Love and Hip Hop nonstop when I was in my 20s. And when I first started watching that show, I saw Jim Jones, I saw Chrissy on there, I saw Olivia, and I was like, you know what, this is going to be good. Like, this is the people that I like. This is going to be about the love for the hip hop because it's called Love and Hip Hop. But no, once you start watching that show, these people now, once you start watching that show, they was getting into fights. They was getting into arguments. I thought they was going to talk about the love for music. Yes, some episodes they were in the studio recording and things of that nature. But still, what it led to a fight. It led to different things. And this is what I'm talking about. Nowadays, that show still comes on. I don't even dare touch that show. I don't even dare watch that show now. Now I'm just seeing it on Instagram or Facebook. Somebody's pregnant. Somebody's throwing drinks. Somebody's fighting. And it's just nonstop. It's nonsense. And I don't want to watch it anymore. I don't want to entertain in that anymore. I'm in my 30s now. I want to watch some shows that's enlightening, that enlightens me, that opens up my mind, that gets me moving, shows that's funny, that has a sense of humor, not showing my Black people in a negative way, because Black people are special. We are special people, and the way that we are being portrayed on TV is so bad, and I'm tired of seeing it, and I get it, the directors, the producers, they want to do it because it gains attention. It gains viewers. And I understand that. But no, because the stereotype that we get from that is horrible. Look how these people treat us out on the street. They look at us like, and I see it all the time and I don't like it. It's horrible. And I just wanted to talk about that today because I need to see us in a positive light. We are special. On my Facebook, I follow this page, Images You Won't See on TV. And they show so many things where Black people starting businesses, getting high GPAs, going to college, getting All these positive things they're showing. But when it comes down to news, when it comes down to anything factual for black people, none of these images are being revealed. But the negative images are being revealed. You see what I'm talking about? I don't understand why they are doing this to us. I feel like black people are the most, I feel like black people is the most hated race. And I don't understand, but everybody wants to take everything from us. They take our swag, they take the words we say, they take our cornrows, our hairdos. They do everything like us. But when it comes down to jobs, or it comes down to us doing, or housing, or anything in particular, it's hard for a black person to get ahead. But when it comes down to other races, they can get ahead. Hispanics too. It's hard for Hispanics too, because they are caught up in this mess too. They are portrayed negatively on TV too. They right with us. So the list just goes on. And I want to see us portrayed in a good way. I want us to get the housing. I want us to get good jobs. When you see these jobs, when you see these jobs, we're not in there. Black people's not in there like that. Some of us is, but not like that, and then when we see one another, we at odds with one another, because we don't know how to accept it and say, you know what, congratulations. We don't know how to be acceptive of what the other black person is doing, of their news, of their achievements. We don't know how to accept it. We rather just hate or just feel some type of way about it, and I'm saying that because this has happened to me. Certain jobs that I got, and I will see black people, my people, and they will feel some type of way. They will be jealous or feeling some, and I'll be like, wow, we should be happy that black people is in this. Like in pharmacy, because that's where I work at, in pharmacy. I'm a pharmacy technician. So I'm just saying, like, 2 black people in pharmacy, that's a plus. We're winning, but some people don't see it like that, and people is at odds with you because of that. So I just wanted to talk about that today. Back in the days, we had good shows. We had the Cosby, we had the Different World, we had Living Single, we had good shows. We had 101. We had good shows, and everything just went to. It just hit the wall. It just went downfall. And they said, it's like a director came in and said, you know what, we're going to change the game. And this is what we're going to do now. This is how we're going to show black people. This is what we're going to show how they really get down. And this is what people think. This is what people think. People that watch these shows of different races look at these shows and think this is what black people really do. They think this is what we really do. And this is not what we really do. This is just something that's made up. This is something to catch viewers. This is something to catch attention. This is not real. Like, come on. I'm not no stripper. I'm not no prostitute. I don't date no drug dealers. I don't run a drug business. I don't do none of that. I'm working. I'm a woman in New York City, working, got my own place. I am doing everything positive that I can do with myself. I'm not I'm not scamming. I'm not making no extra income to scam. I'm not doing nothing like that. And I know it's a lot of black people out here that's doing the same thing. But for some reason, that limelight, that doesn't get shown upon us. That doesn't get shown. And it needs to be shown that black people are positive and there's nothing wrong with us. We are the ones that made it. It's black people out here that made it to the top, that's doing things, that's getting degrees. It's black people that got PhDs, it's just, the list just goes on. So like I said, like another thing is too, I see a lot of shows that is showing some black people in a positive way. I'm not going to say it's all negative. I see some shows that's showing black people in a positive way, but it's not enough. It's not enough, and it needs to change. The stereotype on black people in shows and movies need to change, and we need to do something about it. We need to stop funding this. We need to just stop watching Love and Hip Hop. We need to stop funding these things, And when it comes down to movies for black people, we get the slavery movies or the ghetto roles, or same thing with commercials. They have certain commercials, but when it comes to the black person hair is a mess. She doesn't look right. They don't got that much makeup on her. You see how they do us out here? They do us real wrong. Black people, like I said, we are the most hated race, and I don't know why. So I just wanted to talk about that today. Leave a comment below. Let me hear what you got to say. Let me hear your opinions, your facts, whatever you got to say. Drop them below. Subscribe to my channel, like, share, and follow, and give me some feedback on what you feel about Black people being portrayed in a negative way. We need to stop this stereotype, and we need to really see the greatness that Black people have. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in. If you could add me on my Instagram, which is tainted and tempted _TV, and my Facebook, which is tainted 2_ tempted podcast. Thank you so much. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week when the new episode premieres. Bye bye.